welcome back to another farming simulator MaizePlus video, and today we're going to have a look at TMR again, but we're going to have a look at TMR productions. So I had someone asking on my Discord, and I've seen at least one on the MaizePlus Discord asking about how you use productions to make TMR for MaizePlus. So I have this production that I've placed down. We have some cows over there, and we have some ingredients scattered around. So the first thing, these productions all produce TMR that you can feed to your cows. It's the base game recipe. So it's, you know, just silage, hay, straw. Some will use mineral feed or whatever, but they're producing TMR. So you can use that still. But I get that some of you want to use the other ingredients in TMR in a production. So I'm going to go through how to edit a TMR production to add those in. Something to bear in mind is that you will need to decide what you want your recipe to be. You're not going to be able to make it like a TMR mixer where you can put in a range of different ingredients and get TMR out. You're going to have to pick, I want 30% maize silage, 30% grass silage, 20% hay, 10% of this, and 10% of this. Like the realistic TMR mixture has so many ingredients. You could choose to put little bits of all of those in, but the way that I'm approaching this is every time that I play with MaizePlus, my TMR tends to have a set pattern of ingredients on each Let's Play as to what I'm putting in it. So on Attingham, for example, I have two different recipes, and they tend to use maize and grass silage as a base, and then they have things like grain mix or molasses added to them. So I'm going to kind of go through editing a production to put in some custom TMR recipes. So this should work for any production. I've just picked a random one that I found on ModHub. Check that it works first. I did download one that didn't work so well. The bale trigger didn't work. So this is take 2 of this video because I recorded the whole thing and the bale trigger didn't work. So I was a bit frustrated. So let's jump out to the desktop and have a look at how we do this. Okay, so you're going to need to find your mods folder. In most situations, that's in Documents, My Games, Farming Simulator 22, Mods. If you can't find your mods folder, then maybe mod editing isn't for you. Just going to say. Also, take a copy of whatever you're going to edit, put it somewhere safe, just in case you screw up. Do this in a fresh test save so that if you screw something up, you don't break your save game. If you're really determined and you want to do it in your active save game, then back that up as well. You've been warned. If you break things, it's not my fault. Okay, right, let's get stuck in. So we've got the food mixer, which is this guy, and we're going to open up the XML file for that. I'm going to close that because I want to reopen it. And then to get fill type names and things, the other mod that you want to open up is go into, I don't have the animal food editions in here, but either MaizePlus or MaizePlus animal food editions. And we want to open up the animalfood.xml. And I'm going to put up on the screen, yes, my writing is that bad. I am an engineer. I was a scientist. The classification changed at some point in my job. Yeah, I'm going to put up on the screen what I've scribbled out for the mixtures that I want to create. So I want to create one for Forage 2, which is the realistic TMR, and one for Forage 4, which is the young stock TMR. You can pick whichever you want. So these are the mixer recipes. We don't really need those. Oh, I've only got this open so that I can get the fill type names. So, and what I'm going to do is right click on here first and do move to other view so that I can have both on the screen at the same time. It's a really cool feature of Notepad++. Okay. There are several things that we need to do. Actually going to make that slightly bigger. Hopefully it'll still fit on the screen. I tend to zoom the screen in for you guys so that you can see things better. We need to be able to put the products in to the mixer. That's better. Right click in the middle bar and you can put it up and down. We need to be able to put things into the production. We need to be able to store them in the production, and we need to have the production lines. So we're going to go through each of those. So the first thing you want to do is scroll through and find the unloading trigger. So that's where you put things in, and we need to put in the extra products that we need. So for our case, we need maize silage. So we're going to copy it from down here up to here. We need grass silage. Same thing. We have hay already. I need mineral feed because mineral feed is not part of it. I'm going to use the base game mineral feed. So that's the one that's built in from Giants, not the Doika one that comes with MaizePlus. That's your choice. You need to pick one or the other. They are separate fill types, so the production will treat them separately. And I'm going to use sugar beets in this first mixture. And then for the second mixture, we already have hay, which is dry grass, windrow, and grass silage. We have straw. We have mineral, so we need to add molasses in there. Okay. So that's how to get them all in. The other thing we need is getting them out. And in our case, the two we're going to create are forage 2 and forage 4. So something to bear in mind, some of the some productions will let you store forage in them. So in that case, you'd want to add forage, you'd want to make sure that all of the forages are here so that you can put it back in. If it's a big production building, you might want to put it back in, so you copy and paste those up here. If you want to be able to get the individual ingredients out, copy all of these and paste them into this section. Depends on the production and how you want to use it. That's the first bit. Next, we need to be able to store the fill types. So this is down here, this section. And what we're going to do is copy and paste, and we're going to do 2 of those. That gives us our forage 2 and our forage 4. And then we need to be able to put the ingredients in, and I'm just going to use this capacity. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're just going to copy those down into here. And what you'll find is if you don't give any storage capacity, then the game will throw a bunch of errors. So you need to make sure that everything that you put in and are using in your production cycles, you can also store. We don't need 50,000 litres of molasses, but I'm actually just going to make them all 50,000 litres, just for ease. So that one, no, not 50,009. Okay. And I need to tidy that up as well. This bit doesn't matter. It doesn't affect how it works. It's just for the benefit of my brain. Deleting part of the text is also not good. There, we're just going to make it look nice. So it makes no difference to how it works. I just find it easier to read, and readability really helps with this to spot mistakes, I find. So that's that bit done. So we can put stuff in and we can store it and we can get the new forages out. Next, we need to create the recipes, and those are up here. And I quite like the way this one is done. We should be able to drag that down now, because they use 1,000 litres of output. So you can kind of do percentages. So I'm going to stick with that. What we want to do is make a bit of space, and then all of that we're going to copy and we're going to paste it in, and we need to give it a name. So we're going to call it realistic TMR. We need a, if you're worried about L10N text, you can go and find it if you're that bothered. I am just going to name it manually because it's just for me. The only reason you need to use these L10N text, as they're called, is because it then picks up the different languages and stuff, but because you're editing it for yourself, that doesn't really matter. And then we need to go through and build our recipe. So my first one has 5 inputs. So I'm just going to copy that line, get the 5 inputs in. Paste it there. Okay, so that's our 5 inputs, and we want it to output forage 2. So our first recipe is 30% maize silage, 30% grass silage. I'm going to do the tabbing so it looks nice. 20% hay, so dry grass windrow is hay. And then 10% mineral feed, and 10% sugar beets. Okay, so that's because it's doing 1,000 liters, they're obviously hundreds rather than tens. Hopefully that makes sense to you. If you want to, you can play around with the number of cycles and stuff. You can share throughput capacity. If you put that to true, it shares the cycles between. I think that's the way it works. It's been a while since I've done that. I'd just leave it, and if you need to, just up the number of cycles. So that's our first one. Our second one is going to be young TMR. And we'll just go through and make that. So the first one is hay. And that is going to be 50%. The second one is grass silage, and that's going to be 25%. Next one is straw. So let's just grab that. Straw, and that is going to be 10%. Right, mineral feed we've already got at 10%, and then molasses at 10% too, and that is going to make forage 4. So that should be everything. I am going to increase the cycles so that it's a bit quicker to demonstrate. So important things to check with your copying and pasting that you've got. So the cycle opens where it says production here and closes here. It's the nice thing about MaizePlus is it does that highlighting. So make sure you've got an open and a close, and make sure that you've put your productions inside the productions bit. So we have added our fill types to be able to put them in. We have added our new outputs to be able to get them out. We've given them storage space, and we've created the recipes. So all we need to do now is save, close, and if we go to this 7-zip window, it's asking us to update the archive. So we'll do that as well, and we'll reload the game. But I like to have the debug window up as I load so that it tells me if there are any errors as my game loads, because that's always quite useful. It saves you checking the log file. I think I've got a video on how you do that. If not, just Google it. So no errors in the log, so we should be good. So it's still there. That's another good sign that it's loaded properly. This is why you do it in a test save, because if you make a mistake and it doesn't load, it might vanish. So if we then look in the production menu, we'll see that we have our new cycles with realistic TMR. So there's the 5 ingredients and the 1,000 litres coming out, and our young stock TMR. And all our new inputs and our new outputs. So, should we make some TMR? I have a bunch of ingredients on the floor here to throw in, and a very big bucket, so it shouldn't take too long to get some stuff in. I've got some bales as well, just so we can see that working. Yeah, I was hoping that would work. Always that nervous moment when you're recording a tutorial as to whether the changes you have made were right and have worked. Some went in, some missed. I guess I moved the this mixer doesn't have the biggest trigger in the world, so yeah. It was the first one I found that looked like it worked properly. So I did the whole video with another mixer, and the bale trigger didn't work, and so I just kind of redid it completely, because I was a little bit annoyed that the bale trigger didn't work, because, you know, if you're making TMR, you might be doing some of it with bales, so it seemed like a bad example to show you something that didn't work properly. And I kind of like this one, actually. It's, you know, quite a nice static mixer. I could actually see me using this on on one of my own saves, so yeah. If we check now, we'll see we've got maize and sugar beet going in. We need to put some grass silage and some other stuff in there. So let that fill up a bit, and I was going to be good and use the telehandler. I'm actually going to use some super strength. So we've got some grass silage here. We'll run that over and put that in. There we go. And we've got some hay here as well. It's going in. And we've got some straw. We'll put that in. And we'll just grab some mineral feed, and we'll be able to start making one of the recipes. Come on. There we go. And then we get to see if the molasses will go in or not. Come on. Yeah, remember, realism is key, folks. This is the one that I'm nervous about. This one did work on the other production that I tried, so depends on. There we go. There we go. Molasses going in as well, so cool. Get that put in, and then if we go into our production menu, we can start making our 2 new TMR recipes. So there we go. TMR away. I'll just speed up time a little bit so we get a little bit produced. There we go. They're missing something. Grass silage, I guess. Right, turn those off, and then I don't have a tractor and trailer. There we go. Nice big powerful tractor there. I really like this brewer for some reason. I've never used it in a Let's Play. I think there's a modded version as well that has a front loader on it, which if you know me, you know I like my tractors with my front loaders because animal work. Yeah, so if we just pull under here, we should now have the option to take out our young stock or our realistic. Now, remember with MaizePlus, they all have the same effect when you feed them to your cows. So it doesn't matter which one you use. they will all fill all 4 bars. So we just check, see no feed at the moment, and then if I tip, could have done it to tip to the side. That's why I picked this trailer. Oh well, yeah, let's do that. F1, tip side, oh, tip side, left. There we go. Right. Come on. There we go. So you'll see that it is now filling up the 4 feed bars. Perfect. And if I go just to show you, just because we'll grab the other TMR out as well. There we go. Now, if you try this and you have problems, check your log file. The log is really useful in FarmSim for telling you things like if you've forgotten to add a fill type to the storage or whatever, it'll tell you. So check that. I might copy and paste some of this, or I can make some of the XML available on Discord if people are interested. I cannot upload a copy of the mod because it's someone else's mod, and sharing edited mods is not something that I do. But there we go, the cows have some food now, and they've come over to feed themselves. So that's that. Editing a production to make the other MaizePlus TMRs. If you found this useful, click the like button. Comments, questions, suggestions below. If you are trying to edit it and you are really struggling, do not post me a book below the video. Use Discord, because then you can show me the log files and stuff. Just post in FS help or MaizePlus or something like that. You don't need to PM me either. You don't need to tag me. I'll see the post. And someone else might help you as well. Yeah. If it doesn't work, the log file will probably help you. The first time that I ran through this, I actually forgot that I needed to add them to the storages. So it told me. So, the log file is really good. Yeah, and subscribe if you want. And I will see you next time on Farming Simulator.